The origin of river gunboats is not later than that of sailing warships. It's just that in the early days, the heavy cannons couldn't be carried on small wooden river boats with a small displacement. With the improvement of canal networks and ship technology, the destructive power of river gunboats has also increased. During World War I, France built a batch of river gunboats equipped with heavy artillery, and engaged in artillery battles with the German army in areas such as the Somme River. During World War I, after the initial machine gun massacre, both sides quickly began a groundhog mode, with trenches becoming more and more complex and longer. In this situation, artillery became a powerful weapon to tear apart the enemy's defenses. Firing a few shots could not only deter the enemy but also deplete their manpower. The problem at that time was that the artillery was heavy, and the large-caliber cannons of both sides were difficult to maneuver on the battlefield. If the artillery positions were not moved in time, they might be discovered and subjected to counter-battery fire. In order to improve the mobility of the artillery, France, utilizing its rich inland transportation system, began building a batch of river gunboats equipped with large-caliber cannons in the second year of the war. This batch of gunboats began construction in May 1915 and was completed several months later. There were a total of 12 of these gunboats, with a displacement of only a few tens of tons, and a relatively small size. The most important aspect was the weapon system. The main guns of the gunboats included two types. 8 were equipped with 140 mm guns, actually 138.6 mm in caliber, and 4 were equipped with 100 mm guns. These cannons were the same level as those on destroyers or light cruisers, and to have them mounted on gunboats of only a few tens of tons was quite a challenge. In order to maintain the flexibility of the gunboats and prevent them from being overturned by recoil, a single gun turret was only placed on the foredeck of the gunboat, which could fire to the left, right, and straight ahead. The auxiliary weapons were two 47 mm guns placed on the second deck of the ship's stern. The middle section of the hull housed the ammunition and living quarters for the crew. There was also a simple kitchen on the second deck, with a cabinet for storing utensils and cooking equipment, allowing the crew to cook directly on board. The designer equipped the gunboats with special curtains. When maneuvering or at anchor, the crew would open the curtains around the gunboat, making it look like an unknown type of ship from a distance. These river gunboats played a significant role in combat. They could travel along the canals and suddenly launch artillery attacks in unexpected locations, then move away from their positions to the next location, providing timely and mobile artillery support for the frontline forces. In just 3 months from April to July 1917, these gunboats fired nearly 4,000 rounds of 140 mm shells, effectively supporting the frontline positions. Although these French river gunboats were effective, it should be noted that they were essentially mobile artillery platforms. They could only operate in areas with developed water networks and could not follow the frontline forces once they advanced beyond the canals. Furthermore, their hulls were designed for inland waterways and were not suitable for turbulent waters or the open sea, limiting their effectiveness to emergency situations.